Hello everybody, and today onto the garage we are doing a couple of quick and easy mods to the Jeep Cherokee. And before anybody mentions it, yes, she's wearing false number plates. I was genuinely just playing around in the garage and found out a set of old private plates I had for one of my kit cars and thought, cool, wouldn't the Cherokee look fabulous if it was allowed to have pre-1976 British plates on? So yeah, that's why. So what are we going to do today? Fit a set of wind deflectors to the tops of the windows on the Cherokee. I've used wind deflectors on my Navara for some time and they are superb in allowing you to drop the windows just a little bit, get a really nice flow through of fresh air without the buffeting and without stuff flying in. It also means that things like drive-throughs, when you drop the windows, you've got more of an overhanging gutter so the water doesn't flood in. One of the issues with modern cars is we don't have an actual gutter anymore. Sure, the line of the bodywork keeps the rain away, but anything that is outside of that sort of groove in the roof basically runs down and falls into the car if you've got the window open a little bit. Wind deflectors stop that. Also, they look quite cool and they do stop that whoa, 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 whoa noise as well when you have a window open in the car. So let's see how these are going to fit. Although I've fitted and used wind deflectors for years, there are two different types. I don't mean makes, I mean sort of varieties, flavors if you like. There are wind deflectors that are attached to the outside of the window frame and attached with 3M tape generally. And that's what I've got on my Navara. And there is the type that has a thinner blade and that fits into the window channel. And that's what we've got for the Jeep. And those I've never fitted before, so they'll be quite an adventure for me too. First mission is to drop the window and leave the ignition in a state that means you can wind it up and down while you're carrying out the operation. So just get that sorted. With our car, this is a keyless start car, so all I've got to do is rummage through my pockets and find the keys, and I should be leaving them inside the car, and by pressing the start button once, accessory turns on and I can work the windows. So we're going to open front and rear. And the first task is to do a little bit of cleaning. So what we're going to be doing with these deflectors is fitting them in the window channel here, where the window winds up into. On the Jeep we've got this quite substantial felted seal that's going to rub against the glass, and then it goes behind this rubber trim and into that gap. First thing is, we just want to clean that gap out in case there's any rubbish in it. So I'm just using a plastic tool. I've got a piece of rag, put a couple of layers on the end of the tool. I've got a bit of alcohol in a spray bottle, and that just means I can stick it up there and give her a good wipe out rather easily. And because of the way these ones fit, don't forget to do the vertical section just there. And you can see the amount of rubbish that's coming out. So now I'm going to swap to a clean bit of rag and repeat the exercise until I'm not getting rubbish coming out. I may be a while. Quite bright in here, isn't it? There you go. Okay, not a lot's coming off there now. So while I just let the alcohol evaporate, I'm going to do the back window. But before we go any further, the next step is just to trial fit these things and make sure we understand how they're going to go in. Before we fit it finally, we're removing that piece of yellow tape and another one at the far end. So this is the front of the door. You can see that's going to fit into the channel nicely. Of these ones, it's definitely going to be easy to do the back edge first. And then pop it into place. So what I'm going to do now is remove it and take off the sticky tabs. Remove the tapes. Going to position the back edge again, pushing it into the trim that way to keep the sticky from attaching. Okay, so we're into position. Now what we're going to do is pull it this way. Next, we're going to fit these little clips. I've got two for each front window. It's basically just a U shape, and it's going to force the trim, the plastic element we just added, towards the outside of the vehicle. And there's a little spike on there, a barb. You want that to dig into the plastic, not your car. So that goes on the outside of the vehicle. That side on the inside of your vehicle. And we've got two of these to install. And I find the easiest way, again, nice plastic trim tool, you're not going to scratch anything. Sit it on the top of one of those and then push it up into position. And there's two positions that are suggested for this. One is here, just before it makes the transition into a vertical, and one up here, probably about 3 inches forward of the B pillar. Pop that on top of there, spin that around, should be barb on the outside towards me. Again, try and stick it into position with my fingers first. That's good. And then once it's vaguely there, I can get the tool in and give it a good hard push. So now we're going to do one down here. And for my peace of mind, what I'm going to do is just going to roll the window up a little to just start seating this front, because that's what I was thinking. It's nudging that element there. So that's fully up. And once you get it into place, you want to wind your window up and leave it up so that the tape is being forced into position on the seal, so it gets a bit of a bite and starts to form the whole thing. As you can see, it's a well-shaped item. That adds rather than detracts from the looks of the vehicle. Really well thought out. Let's do the rear. With the rears, there are obviously two. They are shaped. There's a wide end and there's a narrow end. And on the Jeep Cherokee, the wide end goes at the front. Again, we're just going to trial fit these. Much easier because the shape of the window. And I'm just going to push up nicely into that position. I've already cleaned the channel. So these particular ones are from a company called Team Heko, and they're particularly low profile. They don't stick out from the panel very much, to the extent that I can just about get the tips of my fingers underneath these, a little bit wider at the top, just about sneak the whole width of my finger in there, and it tapers back off. So nice low profile. Any water that runs off this side will now have to drop off here, meaning that you can drop your window to probably 3 inches before water falls in, and you can drop it a good 2 inches before you get the air rushing in and buffeting, but you do get the circulation and demisting properties of having the window open. Looks nice and elegant. Obviously black on black is always going to look quite cool, but it's not the easiest to show you guys. If it was a different colour car, you'd probably see it a little easier. If I drop the window for a second, you see it glides down nicely. I move out of the way so you can see a little easier. When it goes back, nothing touches, it clears everything quite nicely. So I've dropped you guys to head height. If I wind the window all the way up, obviously fully closed off. If I now drop it, I can go, in my estimation, about that far. So there's just a little gap here, which means you've got about 2 inches of drop here. All the front is completely still masked off, so you don't get the air rushing in. You've just got this little slot here, and air's not being forced into it. So that's the nice airy effect that you can get with these window deflectors. You either love or hate the look of them. I quite like the look, so not really an issue for myself or my wife. But if you don't like the look, then obviously that's game over. I'm going to carry on and do the other side, but nice quick easy mod for Jeep Cherokee or any other vehicle for which you can buy these sorts of wind deflectors. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, please subscribe. Loads more action coming on, mods maintained for the Jeep, for the Nissan Navara, for the Jaguar XK8 and a Volkswagen T4, plus adventures and inventions and all sorts of silliness going on to the garage. See you soon.